Good morning, everyone. Okay, so for today, we're going to talk about week 16 strategies in various speech situations. So let's start with our lesson objectives. Our lesson objectives for this module first, to be able for you to identify the several types of speech context. Second, be able to distinguish the types of speech style. Third, learn to identify social situations in which a speech style is appropriate to use. Four, learn how to engage in communication situations using acceptable, polite, and meaningful strategies. And five, explain that a shift in speech context, speech style, speech will have effects in several elements of communication process. Okay, so let's start. Okay, let's begin with intrapersonal communication. We all know that when we say intrapersonal communication is communicating within yourself. Okay, so intrapersonal speech is often about clarifying ideas or analyzing situations. Okay, so now let's begin with the different types of intrapersonal communication. So first is self-concepts. Self-concept is the way we see ourselves will influence how we act and how we respond when interacting with others. Our self-concept is affected by our beliefs, values, and attitudes. Okay. And just to add, self-concept also is affected by our culture. Okay. So the way we see ourselves is important because that will reflect on our characteristics. Okay, so why did we say na our self-concept is affected by our beliefs? Because our beliefs are our learned personal orientation. So that is what we believe in. Okay, so when we are deciding things, so our self-concept or the way we see ourselves, our confidence is affected by it. Next, values. Values are ideals that are based on and are aligned with what we believe in. So it is connected with our beliefs, our values. And lastly, attitudes. Attitudes are learned disposition against or for a topic. This is also consistent with our values. Attitudes are typically emotional. These three elements play a significant role in affecting our behavior. Behavior is how we conduct ourselves towards others and yourself. Okay, second type is perception. Perception focuses on looking outward. It is our ability to see, hear, or become aware of something through the senses. Our perception of the world is deeply entwined in our self-concept. Perceptions are rooted in our beliefs, attitudes, and values. Okay. Third is expectations. Expectations are future-oriented messages dealing with rules we call life scripts. Our relationship with other people mold our expectations. Okay. Well, of course, the way people interact to us, that really the root of our expectation, right? Like for example, if a person shows us that he or she is kind, right? So mostly our expectation to that person is that he or she will not hurt us, right? Because she's kind. So that's why expectation is connected with the relationship that we have with the person, right? So we have the saying, the less you expect, the less you will be disappointed. Okay, but we just can't help it, right? So it's like a natural feeling that we feel, especially in terms of a relationship. Okay, next. Um, so interpersonal communication is when we communicate with at least one person on other person or a small large group. Okay? So the other one naman is interpersonal communication. Okay? So if intra, we are communicating within ourselves. When we say inter, it is communicating with other people, with one person. Okay, we already studied this during our previous discussions in first quarter. Okay, so it has different types. The interpersonal communication. Okay, so we have dyad, small group, and public. Okay, so what is dyad or dyadic communication? This kind of communication involves two people in the process. Okay, so meaning to say, only two people are involved in communicating. Okay, you are just interchanging messages. Okay, that's dyadic. Two persons are involved. What about the next one? Small group. Small group, this involves three or more people. Okay, so here it's not two person anymore. It's not two people only involved in communication. It is three or more. That's why it's a group. Okay, so group communication is often done to solve problems and strategize. Okay, so this usually happen in groupings in a classroom or in meetings, conferences. Yan. So this happen in small group communication. Third is public communication. This involves a large of persons. Usually a one-way monologue happens here. Okay. So in public communication, you have a lot of there are a lot of people involved in the communication process. Okay. But here, according here, it's one-way monologue happen. It's one-way monologue. So meaning to say, so there's only one people who serves as the source of information in that communication. Okay. So this kind of communication has very little feedback. Information sharing, broadcasting, and recitals are some examples. Okay, so since it's public communication, so since only one person is the source of information, kaya sabi, there's a little feedback. Okay, so most likely there's a little feedback from the audience or there's no feedback at all. Okay, so that's public communication like public speaking. Okay, so that is all for interpersonal. Again, intra communication, communicating within yourself. Interpersonal communication, communicating with other people. Okay, now let's have the types of speech style. So we have different types of speech style. We have um, intimate, casual, consultative, formal, and frozen. Okay, so in every occasions, we are applying different speech style, right? So like we are not the way we talk with our teacher is not the way we talk with our friends, right? The way we talk with our parents is not the way we talk with our siblings, right? So that is what we call speech style. Okay, we differ our speech based on a given scenario or based on the people that we are communicating with. Okay, so let's have the different types. So we have yan, intimate, casual, consultative, formal, and frozen. Okay, now what is intimate? This kind of communications happen with our family and closest friends. Using the correct grammar or clear articulation doesn't necessarily happen here. This is spontaneous setting and people tend to use a jargon or slang, repeat words, and many times use the wrong or unnecessary words when they speak. Okay, that's why it's intimate. You use this speech style in those people you are very close with, like your family and your closest friends, or maybe it could be your siblings. It depends on the relationship that you have with the person. Okay, again, when we say intimate, you use this speech style to the persons you are very close with. Okay, so in intimate, your speech your speech style doesn't matter or your grammar, okay? So it doesn't matter. What's important is you can understand each other, okay? Next, second, casual. So this also used between family and friends. This applies to daily conversations where colloquial words are often used. Slang language and short sentences are often used in this setting. Okay, so it's casual. Of course, this is similar to intimate. Kaya lang, when we say casual, this is the type of speech styles where you are talking with like your classmates, okay? So, or it could be your friends, diba? You have closest friends and you have your friends. So it's the casual conversation. This is the speech style that we use every day, okay, in communicating. Next, consultative. This form of communication is used in group discussions, conversations inside the school or work, trade speech conventions, etc. This is the most operational type of speech. Consultative speech is delivered in an average rate of speaking speed. Spontaneity means shorter sentences and the presence of repeating words, slangs, jargons, and wrong choice of words. Okay, so here, this type of speech can be observed, the consultative speech. This can be observed in school, offices, and organizations. Okay, fourth, formal. Formal speech is given in formal events. Okay, well, of course, since it's formal, this type of speech styles, this is used in formal settings. Okay, so here, formal speeches are very careful with wordings, has low tempo speech, contains technical vocabulary without complex and divergent grammatical structure. Repetition of words are avoided. People are addressed using their full names and titles when necessary. Ayan. So here, no jargons, no slangs. You use more formal words, okay? And you have to be mindful with your um, grammar, okay? You have to be mindful with the words that you are going to use, okay? So that is for formal speech. And lastly, frozen. So frozen speech is the most formal style and is a standard in ceremonies and respectful situations. Speech given in this style is well articulated, symbolic, fixed, and historical in nature. The delivery is almost oratorical in style. Okay, so frozen speech is not usually used, of course, this is usually used in ceremonies. Okay? Like for example, you are going to give a speech in a graduation. So that type you use frozen. Okay? So next, so those are the different types of speech style. We have intimate, casual, consultative, formal, and frozen. Okay. Now, let's move on with the different types of speech acts. So we have locution, elocution, and perlocution. It's locutionary act, elocution, and perlocution. Let's have the first one. Locution is also called utterance. This is an act of performance of an utterance. It can also have words, phrases, and sentences. So when we say locution, it's simply the utterance. It's simply what we say. Okay? So this kind of act deals with what was said rather than what does it mean. That is locution, utterance. Okay, utterance is what we say. Okay, so again, locution focuses on what was said. For example, it is raining outside. So literally, it is raining outside. So that is the real meaning of that utterance. It is raining outside. Okay, that is locution. That is an utterance, a sentence. What was it? Okay, that's locution. Now, what about elocution? Elocution is the intention of the speaker. It is the speaker's intention in delivering the utterance, like promising, apologizing, ordering, requesting, etc. Okay, so when we say elocution, it is the intention of the speaker, why he or she said that utterance. For example, in my example a while ago, in locution, it is raining outside. That is the locution. What is the elocution? What is the intention of the speaker? Why he or she mentioned that it is raining outside? So it could be the intention of the speaker is he or she wants you to bring an umbrella when you go outside. Or he or she, or the intention of the speaker might be stay inside or stay at home because it's raining outside. Okay, so that's the intention of the speaker. Okay, in that sentence. Okay, so just like what was said here, intentions of the speaker might be promising, giving promises, apologizing, ordering, requesting, etc. Okay, that is elocution. The intention of the speaker in delivering the utterance. Okay, next, perlocution, it's the response, it's the result. Okay, perlocution is the effect or the result of saying the utterance. Okay, so let's go back with our example a while ago in locution. So the example, in my example, in locution, it's the utterance. It is raining outside. And then when we say elocution, it is the intention of the speaker. So in elocution, it is raining outside. The intention of the speaker might be he or she wants you to bring umbrella or stay at home because it's raining outside. Now, what is perlocution in that sentence? It is raining outside. So, perlocution in that sentence might be you will not go outside anymore because it's raining. That's the result of saying the utterance. What else? You will bring an umbrella when you go outside since the speaker already told you that it's raining outside. Okay, so that is the result of what you've said. That is perlocution. Okay, so those are locution, elocution, and perlocution. Okay? So again, locution is the utterance. What is the literal meaning of the word or what you've said? Okay? So that is locution, an utterance. Elocution is the intention of the speaker of why he or she said or delivered that sentence or utterance. Perlocution is the effect or the result of the utterance. Okay? So next, I hope that's clear. Okay, so next is communicative competence. Communicative competence, yeah. So being an effective communicator and a good speaker can be learned. Okay, so it's how competent we are in terms of communicating. The following reading is about how you can improve yourself in communication. Communicative competence is when the cluster of abilities that enable humans to convey and interpret messages and to negotiate meanings personally within a specific context. Having communicative competence means you have the knowledge on the language and have an aptitude on the target language. Communicative competency can be classified in four subcategories according to Canale and Swain 1980. So these are the for communicative competency. We have grammatical competence, discourse competence, social linguistic, and strategic. Let's have the first one. Grammatical competence means grammar. It is proficiency in syntax and morphology. Okay? So why is syntax and morphology? Because these two in linguistics, this focuses on written language. Okay? On grammar. Okay? Because morphology talks about the meaning of a word. Okay? So when we say naman syntax, it refers to the structure of a sentence. Okay? So that's why that refers to grammatical competence. Okay? So it's like whether it is verbal or non-verbal, we are using an accurate grammar. Okay? Next, two, discourse competence. The ability to use the proper cohesion and coherence, which is the appropriate combination of communicative function. Third, social linguistic competence, ability to use the appropriate words in a particular social situation. Okay, that is social linguistic competence. Meaning, in every setting or in every occasions or in different things. Okay, so you were able to use appropriate words in order to communicate properly. Okay, because it's not all the time we are communicating with our friends, with our classmates. We meet a lot of people and we have different ways on how we communicate with them. So if you are good in communicating with other people, whatever type of people they are, so that is social linguistic competence. Okay. So next, fourth, strategic competence, proficiency to cope and adjust with the imperfect knowledge and ability to sustain communication through various methods. Okay, so those are the four communicative competencies. Okay, now Let's move on with the types of communicative strategy. So we have different types. We have nomination, restriction, third taking, and topic control, topic shifting, repair, and termination. There are 7. Okay, so let's continue with the first one, nomination. Nomination is the ability of taking an attention of the hearers and trying to commence or to begin or nominate of proposed speakers' ideas in a conversation. So nomination is like starting a topic in a conversation. Okay, that's simply it is nomination. Um, Starting a topic in a conversation, whether it be verbal or non-verbal communication. Okay? So, to start talking about a topic that you propose. Yan. So, that is nomination. Example can be talking to your classmates while waiting for your ride, or lengthy conversation on the phone between a mother and her child who is physically away from her. Or like chatting with our boyfriend or girlfriend, di ba? So, meron din tayong topics that we are talking about, right? So, minsan, ang iba naboboard na. Sabihin, can you start another topic? Yan. So, yan yung nomination. Okay? Like starting a topic in a conversation. Okay? Next. Second is restriction. This is the opposite of nomination. Okay? So restrictive speaking is a one-way process of communication. The listeners are not allowed to speak up or provide feedback to the speaker. An example can be homily or commencement speaker during graduation. That's why it's restriction. The listener or the audience is restricted to communicate or to give feedback with the speaker. Okay? So the strategy that constrains or restricts the response of the other person involved in the communication process or situation. Okay? So as you can see, dun sa homily of the phrase, right? So we are listening only. We don't have a feedback. We don't have a response. That means it's a restriction. Okay? Next. Third is turn taking. Turn taking is when people involved in a conversation decide who speaks next. Okay? So the rules are dependent on norms, culture, traditions, or mechanics. Other speakers should be given time to talk. In turn taking, when we are communicating, there are non-verbal cues that signals us that it's our turn to speak, right? So some non-verbal cues that signals us that it's our turn to speak is like yung hand. When we are pointing our hand with our or with the person we are talking with, okay? Or kaya naman through eye contact, okay? Or kaya naman through verbal, like, okay, yeah, diba? So that signifies that it's your turn to speak, okay? So, for example, of turn taking is in debate, okay? So, debate, it's a turn taking, diba? So, after one person speaks, the other one will now it's their turn to speak. Okay, so they're both given a chance to speak. Okay, so that's an example of turn taking. Okay, next, topic control. Topic control is limiting the discussion only about the chosen topic. Okay, so example niyan is yung debate pa rin. Okay, so in a date, you are given a topic to discuss or to talk about. Okay, so the affirmative style can only argue as to why they are in favor of the given proposition. They cannot speak to oppose this. Okay, this discourse in the debate is always controlled one. Okay, or another example in topic control here in our discussion. So our topic is all about the communicative strategy. Okay, so that is only what I'm talking about. That topic. Okay, it could excuse me, it could be a report. When you are reporting, you're only allowed to talk on the things that is connected with your topic, with the given topic. Okay, so that is an example of topic control. Okay, next. Next is topic shifting. Okay, so topic shifting meaning shifting with another topic. Okay, so this strategy is used when a speaker needs to change the topic being discussed. Okay, this requires the speaker to be polite, prudent, and courteous when ending the topic and leading to conversations to anyone. Okay? An example of topic shifting is reporters. The reporters are obligated to ask varied types of questions, and he or she must know how to shift from one topic to another. Okay, what else? Di ba when we are communicating, we are also shifting with another topic, right? So if we are good at like that, we're not suddenly shifting to another topic. Like, bigla mong tinapos yung topic na yun and then nag-shift ka agad, right? We're not normally like that, right? We usually end a topic in a nice one and then we're gonna shift with another one. Or like, we will shift with another topic, but there are times that it is connected also with the first topic that we are talking, right? So that is topic shifting. Okay, simply changing to another topic. Okay. Next, repair. So one can apply the repair communicative strategy that includes asking for clarification, not acknowledging, topic shifting, not responding, repeating, recasting, and adding. To repair is to correct, to ensure that the interaction does not stop, that the turn sequence does not fail, and to avoid distortion of the subject. Like for example, um, I'm sorry, I did not catch that. Or, I'm sorry, did I mention your name wrong? Yeah, so that would be an example of repair. Okay, so like you are asking for clarification or you are saying that you understand it wrong, like that. Okay, so that's an example of repair. Next, last is termination. This strategy entails the ending a conversation artistically. This is to end the discussion indirectly or directly. Okay, so meaning you're gonna end the conversation. Okay, so could you imagine? Let's imagine that you're talking with your friends. So how do you end your conversation? Okay, so many times now we end the conversation directly and indirectly. But when we say indirectly, it's giving non-verbal signals. Like for example, naghihilab, yan. What else? Looking at your watch or looking at your phone, not paying attention, okay? So those are an example of indirectly ending a conversation. But when we say directly, it's like, I'm sorry, but I need to go, like that. Okay, like, okay, it's nice talking to you. Let's talk again some other time. Yeah, so that's directly ending a conversation, okay? So you should be careful when you are ending a conversation, kasi you would appear rude, okay? So you should end a conversation in a way that it will be both beneficial for the both of you, okay? So those are the different communicative strategies, okay? So 7, nomination, restriction, turn taking, topic control, topic shifting, and repair. Okay, now let's move on. Okay, wow. So we are done. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna check the ano. Oh yeah. So that is all. Yeah. Okay. I thought there's another one. Kasi this module is also long. Okay. So that will be all for our discussion for this module. If you have more questions, you can message me. Okay. That will be all for today. See you again. Okay. Goodbye.